Positive Rotation.
Welcome to Positive Rotation, a 126th Air Refueling Wing Helping Agencies podcast, helping refuel your mind. I'm Master Sergeant Brian Ellison with the Director of Psychological Health, Linda Schuh, licensed counselor and social worker. We are wrapping up our look at 7 Habits of Highly Effective Airmen, which is based off Stephen Covey's work. Linda, last week we talked about synergy, which we do all the time. What are we talking about this week?
So habit 7, Brian, is sharpening the saw, and which is just another way of saying, good self-care, taking care of yourself, developing the whole person. This would be your me time, including body, brain, heart, and soul. So if we can't take care of ourselves, it's hard to take care of others. So we have to really put ourselves first sometimes and take care of ourselves.
You mentioned, what are some of those things that we can do to maintain our well-being?
So one of the most important things is adequate sleep. Sleep is so essential to the body, to the mind, and the physical health. If we can, getting 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night, having restful sleep and getting into the REM sleep is very essential. Exercise increases endorphins in our body that helps us to feel better. So exercise is very important. They suggest 3 times a week, 30-minute intervals, and try to do something to get your heart rate up. We want to be mindful of our healthy eating habits, including the 4 major food groups, and drinking lots of water. And then just doing things you enjoy, could be a hobby. I know, Brian, you've mentioned bike riding.
Mm-hmm.
I like hiking. Maybe somebody likes arts and crafts or doing painting, things like that. So doing things that you enjoy is good for yourself. And then spending time with friends and family, because we are social creatures and we do need others. Relationships we have to spend time to nurture those relationships.
So if we're not doing these things, what happens to us, our mind and our body?
So when we don't prioritize ourselves, we start feeling bad. Our health could suffer. I have a lot of, I do the counseling for the wing, and typically people that suffer from stress, depression, or anxiety tend to be sick more often. Our health suffers. We get sick. We're irritable, sluggish, and unfulfilled. So, we really need to take care of ourselves so that we can, again, help other people.
Right. What are some ways that we can practice self-care?
So a couple things is maybe writing in a journal, and I suggest this in counseling, maybe writing down some things about your day. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative things. It could be positive things too, something you're grateful for, or just an idea or something in your day that you're grateful for. Enjoying nature's beauty, enjoying, maybe a sunset or a sunrise. Maybe going to therapy is good for you. I know talking to someone and expressing yourself, because we tend to kind of live in our head sometimes. Mm-hmm. And a therapist is somebody you can trust and somebody you can talk to.
I like to go to therapy because I get to talk about myself.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Right. It's good self-care.
Yeah. And it feels good. I get to talk about myself.
Right, exactly. So it's really good for self-care because, like I said, we end up just being in our heads a lot and not really saying things, and then just kind of thinking about them. And then we do tend to be negative creatures sometimes, thinking about the negative, where the therapist would give you more of a positive idea about things in a different perspective. So the therapy is really good. And so I'm also available for counseling for the wing. The service members can come to me for counseling.
That's right. And what are some other ways we can practice that self-care?
So just, again, connecting with friends and family. I think just, having a friend, they like me and then I like them, that helps our self-esteem. Getting a flu shot can be good self-care.
I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a proactive way to help yourself and keep yourself healthy, and things like that. And then again, encouraging your creative side. So whatever you're, maybe that could be socially, maybe having a party, maybe doing some painting or crafts or, hiking or biking, things that you enjoy, encouraging your creative side.
I'm not sure if you mentioned getting more sunlight. More sunlight helps. And look at what I bought about a week ago. I got a sunlight, one of those. My doctor said, "Why don't you try?" Because my depression gets worse in the wintertime. He goes, "Why don't you try the sunlight?" And besides, I mean, look at this room. We get so much sunlight in this room. That we have no windows to the outside world, so this sunlight helps out a lot. Just to have that sunlight gives you a little bit of energy. It's nice.
Yes, definitely. The sunlight is very helpful, and some people develop seasonal depression where in the wintertime we have less sunlight and vitamin D, so it really does affect us and causes more depression, which we're going to have daylight savings time coming up next week. We'll lose the hour, but we'll have more sunlight.
Yes, we will. And the thing that I learned too is even though we're outside the wintertime, the way that the Earth is rotated in the northern hemisphere, we're not getting that same amount of vitamin D. I didn't know that. It's because of the angle of the Earth to the sun in the wintertime. That's interesting. And a lot of this can, if we're not taking care of ourselves, like you said, it can hurt our relationships, and especially here at work. How can we practice resiliency in the workplace?
Well, I think just resiliency in the workplace is, being able to tackle stress, being able to have those coping skills, whether that's talking to a friend or talking to a therapist and finding ways to combat stress. You want to address challenges on the job, by talking to, maybe your manager, maybe synergizing ways that you can come to a common goal, to help challenges on the job. So employees consider work to be their number one stressors in their lives. And I just did a group with finance, and they all said that the work was the most stress that they had in their lives. So,
yeah, I'm sure with their job and the way things are right now with with the budget, yeah, I'm sure they are feeling a lot of stress.
Right. So we want to try, like I said, we want to try to minimize stress, keeping work at work and then home life at home. So again, we want to practice positive thinking, gratefulness. We want to learn from our mistakes and failures. So I think some people get really down about a failure or a mistake, but it really what makes us who we are today is our mistakes and being able to work towards a better goal and things like that and learn from those. And sometimes we're just not good at things, and that's okay. Like I said, sometimes I might have a strength, you may have a strength, and we can continue to synergize and bring those strengths together. But finding people to kind of compensate for those things that you're not good at. Surrounding yourself with positive people, I think, is a plus. I know, sometimes people around us tend to be more negative than others and kind of bring us down. And just, so trying to be particular about who you befriend and who you're around a lot, because that'll really help your mental health too, as well. And just look forward to coming to work. I really encourage you. We spend most of our time, 8 hours while we work 9-hour days.
Yeah.
So we spend more time at work, than we do probably at home with our families. And so you really should enjoy your work. If you don't enjoy your work, maybe thinking about reclassifying or getting a different AFSC, things like that, because we really should enjoy what we do and feel purpose, in our day and the things that we do.
And, in our workspace, there's other things that we can do as well, like, just being organized. I feel good when I can clean off a space on my desk like I have right now, which I only usually do when company comes over, like we did at my house when we were growing up. Clean up, company's coming over.
Right, exactly. Being more organized, cleaning off your desk. I know I tend to have, I'll have neat piles on my desk, but at least I know what pile is what and where I leave things. But having a space to work on your desk is important. Being on time is important. If you're not on time for work, you're going to be more stressed. So, leaving yourself more time to get to work. Also makes your manager happier too if you're on time.
Yeah, it does. Certainly does.
And then, not staying just in the same old rut, accepting new challenges at work, things that help you to grow, mentally and physically. So accepting, new challenges, maybe your manager would suggest that you take on a project and, maybe doing that. And again, you can kind of synergize with your coworkers on how to do things. I can't say enough about establishing good working relationships with coworkers. We spend, more of our time with our coworkers than we do family and friends. And so it really helps if we establish good relations with them. You want to do things like, and I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but celebrate birthdays, celebrate successes in the workplace, passing inspections, awards, promotions, things like that. So you want to celebrate the people in the office. And then leave your desk for lunch. I'm bad at this. I tend to eat my lunch at my desk, but you really should go to the break room or go out for lunch, go somewhere else for lunch, because when you're surrounded by work, you're always thinking of work. And so that causes more stress. So I really encourage you to eat somewhere else other than your desk.
I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. That's a hard one. I enjoy maybe because I enjoy my work so much. I don't know. It's hard to eat lunch in the break room or go someplace to eat lunch. But sometimes that is just to get out and if you can get outside and get into the sunlight. That does, I can see where that helps out. And
or even just going for a walk, 10-minute walk to eat your lunch, gobble your lunch for 10 minutes and then walk for 15 minutes,
Yeah,
that would be a good idea too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that idea. One of the things that I think of is you can either fight someone, I guess, in a sense, not have a, kind of fight you have a bad attitude. You can, somebody. You got to choose your attitude, I guess, is what it comes down to. You can choose to fight it, or you can just be like, okay, this is the way it is. I accept that person for the way they are, and if I just go along with them, in a sense, I don't want to say tolerate, but accept them for who they are, then definitely the work day and work goes a lot smoother, and you're not as stressed.
Right. And I encourage you, if you do have somebody in the workplace that you don't get along with or just has negativity and things like that, try to see something positive in them, whether it's their creativity or just, ideas that they have. Just try to see the positive in people, because it's easy to see the negative and get stuck on the negative.
And we're talking about just sharpening the saw, and part of that is having confidence in your abilities to perform the job. That that can help out as well. What are some we're talking about things that can improve the resiliency in the workplace. What else can we do? I know we touched on some of this in Synergize.
Right. So I think that like you said, having confidence in your abilities to perform your job, having positive self-esteem, and also just managers out there, compliment your subordinates, compliment your employees, give them awards, tell them they're doing a good job, because it really does help their self-esteem and it helps their self-confidence knowing that they're doing a good job. A couple other things that can help resiliency is spiritual wellness, and this could be it could be accepting, you know, a higher power in your life, whether that's God or Buddha or whomever, accepting that higher power would help you, and you would maybe pray to that higher power. Spiritual wellness could also be, you know, looking for the sunrise or the sunset, or just enjoying nature. It doesn't necessarily have to be about a higher power. Spiritual people tend to be a little bit happier, a little bit more positive. So if you can really hone in on that spiritual sense, that will help you as well. Physical wellness, like I said, we get the PT time, we get the hour 3 times a week. So I really encourage people to take that time. And managers, I really encourage encourage your subordinates and your employees to take that time out, because they really need to re-energize and just refresh themselves. And again, just thinking about how, you know, healthy relationships and how we can nurture them. Can we spend more time with our kids, spend more time with our spouse, you know, have better communication and different things like that. So relationships are crucial in our resiliency.
What about like, setting goals and things like that, you know, for just to help out the resiliency maybe in the workplace?
Well, I think everybody should have goals, whether it's a long-term goal or a short-term goal. I think, like one of my goals was coming in here today and finishing the 7 habits. That was my goal, and I'm getting ready to finish my goal. So I think having those goals throughout the day, and then having a long-term goal, that you're working towards. And we did talk about this and some of the other 7 habits, goal oriented thinking.
Sure.
And working towards that, because we always want to better ourselves, and we always want to have accept new challenges. So those goals are important.
Sure.
And I wanted to tell people, just focus on what is within your control. Sometimes we get worried about things. 90% of the things we worry about never come to pass, but we get worried about things, and they're usually things that are not within our control. And then, so I think just focusing on, I can't change, what a person says or does. I don't have control over that, but I do have control over myself, how I contain myself, how I interact with others, and things like that. So just focusing on what's within your control.
I want to go back to setting goals. How can we help people set goals? Because I ran into somebody this weekend who said, I don't have any goals. Well, how do you help them see their goals, or achieve, help them see what their goals are? Because I'm sure they have goals.
Right. Well, I think this is where, the managers come in, the mentors come in, having a mentor. And we do have the mentorship program at the wing, really working with somebody that can help you with that. I think everybody has goals. Whether they think about it as a goal or not, is a different story. But everybody has kind of in their mind, what things they're working towards. But just encouraging people to, challenge themselves and kind of get out of their box a little bit and do some different things, synergize with their community, with their units, and do things. And maybe that manager or the mentor could suggest some goals, suggest, do you want to work towards some college classes? Do you want to work towards your new, towards a promotion? Do you want to have a better, family life, better marriage, be a better parent, things like that, and just kind of come up with those. And we also, like I said, you can see me for counseling. We could do some goal-oriented counseling, where they come in and we talk about that too, and I would encourage them. So those are some of the things you can do to help people think of goals.
That's a great idea. Those are great ideas. some other things that we can do in the workplace. It kind of follows along with the 7 habits, besides setting goals, but focusing in what like you said, what's within your control. What are some other things along that nature that we can think about?
Well, I think sometimes we just get stuck on ourselves. And I mean, this is about self-care, but we also want to help others. We also want to encourage others. So, helping others helps us. It helps our self-esteem and their self-esteem. So, and a lot of times in counseling with depressed people, they really just kind of don't see outside the box, outside themselves. And so I encourage them to go to maybe a local shelter or food pantry, or just, even helping their neighbor or their friend or somebody. Because it helps you to know that you're encouraging someone and helping someone. And like I said, it does help you. And then just having gratitude and, positiveness in your life. I had a conversation today with one of the doctors on the wing, and he said, yeah, I just have a couple friends that are so negative. They just bring me down so much. And we were talking about ways just to think about, positivity and gratefulness. And with everything going on, with Ukraine and Russia, I mean, there's people, in basements that are with wet clothes and, worried about being bombed or worried about being killed. And I think, we just don't realize how blessed we are and how positive we have things. We really do have good lives. And so just being grateful for those things. I have a job, I have food, I have shelter, I have a good family. I just thinking about those positive things. I think we just take a lot of things for granted until we don't have them. And then a couple other things is just, have a sense of humor. Thinking of things in a different perspective. And then maybe even creating a wellness program at work. Having a goal of maybe maybe I do 100 push-ups a month or 100 push-ups a week, or, maybe every couple hours we all go down and do push-ups, just different things, throughout the week or throughout the month that can encourage us at work. I know they've had the biggest loser contests and, things like that. So I encourage units to have those in their offices as well.
So that wraps up the 7 habits of successful airmen. Thanks, Linda, for coming in and sharing that with us. We should review those 7 habits that we've discussed over the past 7 weeks.
So we want to review the 7 habits. So we want to be proactive instead of reactive, and we want to do things to help ourselves and help others, and get ready for work and our personal life, and just be proactive in things, maybe it's a PT test, maybe doing exercise, to practice for your PT test. That's being proactive.
And that cuts down on that anxiety, right?
Yes, cuts down on the anxiety. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is begin with the end in mind. So this is where we have the goal setting and encouraging others to come up with goals and coming up with goals for ourselves. We want to challenge ourselves and not stay in that rut. Putting first things first, prioritizing things in our lives. What do I need to get done maybe for the day? What do I need to get done this morning? What is a priority for me today? What is a priority for me this month? So looking at what's priorities, what needs to come first in your life. Thinking win-win. So, this is situations where we want to think win-win, where we all win, where we all, kind of work together and synergize and come up to that common goal. We want to have a positive outcome. And then number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So we want to have empathy for others and listen to others first before we give our perspective or our ideas on things, and just really give them a chance. And sometimes people just want you to listen. Sometimes people don't even want advice. They just want somebody to vent to and listen to, and that's good too. And then synergizing. So again, we want to work together for the common goal and respect each other's ideas. Again, this can be challenging because sometimes we want to have it our way, but
Sure.
our way is not always the best way.
Right.
And then the last one again is sharpening the saws. That's practicing good self-care so we can help others. Because if we're not helping ourselves, it's going to be hard to help others. So
You had talked about earlier talking to finance. So do you? So you were available to maybe just sit down and talk to an office, a squadron, a group?
Yeah. I can do different classes throughout the units. We can do mental health education. I have classes on stress management. I have classes on, resiliency in the workplace, which we're talking about today. We can go over, different, the 7 habits, things like that. We also have yoga on Thursdays,
that's right.
once a week from 3:30 to 4:30 on building 5029. We also have that. And, so just continue to tune in and we try to market our services as best we can, but I'm also available for counseling Monday through Friday. I have the same schedule that the full-timers have, and I'm here on drill weekends as well.
What's a good phone number to reach you at?
Oh, that would be 618-363-1426.
All right. Again, you can reach Linda at 618-363-1426. She is the Director of Psychological Health, Linda Schuh, licensed counselor and social worker. And we have Benji, the therapy dog. Thanks for taking the time to help refuel your mind on the 126th Helping Agencies Positive Rotation podcast. I'm Master Sergeant Brian Ellison.